Season 5 has brought with it new jungle items with 4 distinct playstyles in mind. Stalker's Blade is intended to help any jungler, specifically those who lack ganking tools, be able to perform deadlier ganks. Poacher's Knife is for the control junglers who want to cripple their opponents, and then Skirmisher's Saber acts as a pseudo-ignite for junglers, at least after they smite the target and then slap them, and then also adds a defensive buffer as well. This item is intended for duelists and fighters more than anybody else. Ranger's Trailblazer is for junglers with low sustain, or those who just prefer to farm non-stop. However, as we all know, when it comes to things like this, there tends to be one item or a few that suck and some that are better. Right now, the best machete upgrades are Ranger's Trailblazer, even with the nerf, and Skirmisher's Saber. It is debatable of which one is the best between the two, as Ranger's Trailblazer is useful on all junglers, necessary on a few low sustain ones, and generally a safe pick. Skirmisher's Saber can also be used by every jungler, but the effectiveness varies greatly. But even though its effectiveness is not immediate, it is by far more useful than Ranger's Trailblazer in the long run. Essentially, Ranger's is better early as its effect can benefit you immediately, but it is only truly useful for PvE, while Skirmisher's Saber may not be useful early, since you sometimes may not have the targets to use it on, but you will eventually get into teamfights where its benefits can be very strong. Poacher's Knife is definitely a weak choice right now, as Ranger's Trailblazer can basically be adapted to fulfill the same purpose, which is invasion, while helping burn down the camp quicker and granting more sustain to keep the invader healthy in case of a counterattack, while also being useful in the jungler's own jungle. This doesn't necessarily mean Poacher's Knife is bad, as it is, good right now, mechanically. It's merely set back by the fact that Ranger's Trailblazer is a far better option. Stalker's Blade, at least in my opinion, is truly the bad item of the bunch. The thing is, the process behind it makes sense. We gave control junglers an item, Poacher's Knife, we gave farmers an item, Ranger's Trailblazer, we gave fighters an item, Skirmisher's Saber, so now we should give the gankers an item. The problem is that it's too difficult to give gankers any tools that are actually probably balanced. At worst, and most stupid, you can give them a targeted hard CC on demand. After realizing the most OP you can go with an item, you start toning it down until you find a place where you feel it's the most fair and balanced. You decide you cannot have hard crowd control, so you weaken it to a softer form of CC, such as a slow. If you have the numbers too high, then it might as well have stayed as a hard crowd control. Yet if you make the numbers too low, then it's pretty pointless. A 50% targeted slow sounds reasonable, so you send it out the door and hope it doesn't cause problems. Like I said, on paper it sounds like it would have been a really nice addition to the game, but sadly the gameplay changes that happened alongside of it greatly weakened its appeal and power. If this item had come out in previous seasons, then I would have said it was a damn good item. But with the season 5 changes, the season this item was released in, it's totally counterintuitive. Think about it this way, you need to use Smite on the monsters to gain their buffs, either to sustain yourself, protect yourself, or to make your invasions and ganks stronger. It is made worse by the fact that you need Smite to gain bonus experience that is crucial in the early levels. This means that if you want to use your Smite to gank someone, then you have to hold on to it while you wait for a gank opportunity to present itself. This means you cannot use it to gain the bonus experience, buffs, or anything until then. Another flaw is that the item is generally pointless on a lot of champions, or flat out ignored, as some junglers prefer the other items. The heavy gankers already have tools that will secure ganks for them, so the slow is overkill in terms of CC. The junglers without ganking tools like Shyvana and Master Yi are rather reliant on gold, and while ganking someone grants you gold, it is also risky and can potentially backfire. Reasonable junglers would argue that it is simply better to farm with Ranger's Trailblazer to get a secure line of gold income rather than to risk it on a gank with a chance of failure. Even then, in terms of ganking, it might not actually do anything as the target can still fight back in some way. While this would not be the common occurrence, imagine trying to gank a Malphite and you smite him for the slow and you notice he's not running away. Out comes the enemy jungler, and then the counter gank is in full motion and it's now a 2v2. Suddenly the slow doesn't matter because Malphite is fighting back, so you might as well have done nothing to him. At least you would have had some defense against him and some bonus damage. In short, Stalker's Blade isn't truly a bad item, as it does have potential in team fights and in ganks. It's just that the game around it makes it feel less attractive when compared to the other items. A huge buff to Stalker's Blade may be underway, as Riot plans on giving Smite a charge system, which will raise Smite's cooldown to 75 seconds, but hold up to 2 charges with a usage cooldown of 15 seconds in between. This means the jungler with Stalker's Blade will not have to starve themselves of too much jungle experience and buffs while they hold on to Smite for a gank. It might still need a buff, but we'll have to see how it works with the new charge system first. Give me your opinions on the item in the comments below, any ideas as to how to buff it if you agree with it being too weak, and make sure to leave a like for the video. I apologize for there being no footage to go with this video, but honestly I haven't been able to collect any, so here's hoping I'm able to get some soon.